pour comprendre le présent d'une marque, il faut se plonger dans son passé. Et ce qu'on va faire maintenant, c'est qu'on va aller voir le musée Bang Olufsen. Alors un truc qui est important quand même dans cette vidéo, qui est une présentation de la marque, c'est que peut-être pour certaines personnes qui nous regardent, BO Play, Bang Olufsen, c'est peut-être assez flou, le nom est connu ou pas connu. Mais par contre, à l'intérieur de ce musée, vous allez certainement voir des produits iconiques, des matériels qui ont dû peut-être même inconsciemment vous marquer, que vous avez vu dans des films, vous avez vu quelquefois sur des affiches, ou utilisé quelquefois à certaines pubs vintage. Donc je pense, je ne sais pas, je ne suis pas encore rentré, qu'on va voir des platines à bras tangentiels, on va voir peut-être même des postes, des anciens peut-être téléviseurs qui sont un peu vieux, je ne sais pas, des trucs cathodiques, il faut savoir qu'ils font de tout, parce que Bang Olufsen, ce n'est pas que du son, hein, ils ont également des téléviseurs, ils travaillent avec LG pour l'OLED. Donc on va entrer dans ce musée, regardez d'abord le bâtiment comme il est beau. Alors c'est le musée qui est ici dans la ville de Struer. Alors Struer, c'est le lieu-dit, l'endroit où se trouve Bang Olufsen, la maison mère, qui a également une succursale à Copenhague. Mais là, Struer, c'est, je ne sais pas si je le dis bien, comme je dis à chaque fois, c'est affreux, mais c'est l'endroit où est né Bang Olufsen, où les créateurs se sont installés. Et donc on va voir ce musée. Alors vous allez voir dans quelques instants l'inscription justement, le musée BO. Alors, le truc, c'est qu'au fil des années, on a appelé ça, et on appelle peut-être toujours ça d'ailleurs BO, Bang Olufsen. Certains produits, c'était BO Play. À la base, moi, j'ai toujours connu sous le nom de BO. C'est très émouvant de se trouver ici, parce que je ne sais pas si vous êtes comme moi, mais pour les gens qui connaissent la marque, pouvoir comme ça se plonger dans le passé d'une marque qui a une telle histoire, parce qu'attention, il y a des histoires à raconter sur Bang Olufsen, c'est absolument dingue. Vous allez voir que côté design, ils ont osé des trucs qui ont été repris par d'autres marques. C'est-à-dire que même sur certaines enseignes, vous allez voir des inspirations sur des produits actuels, vous dites, mais c'est dingue, BO l'avait fait avant. Vous allez voir que c'est pas une vue d'esprit, ils ont des produits de folie. Allez, on y va. On pénètre dans le Bang Olufsen Museum. Donc maintenant, venez avec moi. D'abord, regardez un peu l'arbre, ici, qui traverse l'entrée, parce qu'on n'a pas voulu justement, et c'est très bien, toucher à l'arbre. Donc il se retrouve mis à l'entrée pour ne surtout pas l'avoir déraciné ou coupé. Je trouve ça merveilleux. Donc on rentre au Struer Museum, je suis désolé. Et on va donc descendre, parce que c'est en bas qu'on trouve le musée Bang Olufsen. Alors moi, je ne l'ai pas vu parce que vous allez voir dans toutes les vidéos qu'on a tournées ici au Danemark, l'équipe de tournage a fait exprès de ne pas me dire les choses pour que justement, je puisse avoir la surprise. Comme vous l'auriez à ma place, parce que l'idée, c'est quand même de faire de l'immersif. Oh là 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 là, ce que vous allez voir, vous allez devenir fou. Ah, c'est de la folie. Avant qu'on commence, je voulais vous montrer ça tout de suite parce que je viens de le voir. J'ai trouvé ça délirant. Oh là 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 là. Excusez-moi pour les oh là là, mais regardez l'idée. Moi déjà, comme je suis un fan de vinyle, je suis déjà par terre. L'idée d'avoir le pavillon acoustique comme ça devant. Et je suppose qu'il doit y avoir un trick, c'est-à-dire qu'à mon avis, on peut passer à l'intérieur, je vais vous le faire tout à l'heure, et mettre la tête là et dire « Coucou, je suis du cérumen humaine. » Voilà, c'est beau. Et maintenant, pour visiter un musée, il me faut ce qu'on appelle le guide in light. On va retrouver quelqu'un d'extraordinaire qui va me servir de guide pour ce musée. Hello!
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine. What's your name?
My name is Jette.
Jette. And you're going to be the guide in light for today in the museum.
Yes, we are here at the Bang Olufsen Museum in Struer.
How do you say it?
In Struer.
Struer. This is not what I said. It's outside. I'm so sorry about this.
No.
I said Struer also. It's Struer.
So it's a trip down memory lane. We're going back to 1925, where the company was founded. So nearly 100 years.
It's amazing. And I do suppose that these guys here are the founders.
They are. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's the Olufsen and Peter Bang.
Okay.
So they are greeting us while we go into the actual collection.
Greet us. Oh my God. I'm moved, really, because I really love this brand, and this is the first time I got the chance to be here. First time. Oh la 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 la. Hey. And this is the beginning.
It is the beginning. Yeah, we actually, if we'll come over here and see the radio over here, that is actually the first radio from Bang & Olufsen. And what is actually really, really special about this radio is the fact that it's running on electricity. Because we are back in 1925, and usually all the radios that was made back then were all running on batteries. And at that time, I have to say, batteries were not convenient, not as it is now. So the possibility of making a true kind of plug-and-play solution, as they did with this radio, was something really, really revolutionary and hadn't really been seen before. So that is the radio. It's the only one that's original, the only one that's left.
Oh my God.
So it's very special.
Really special. It's amazing. It's like seeing an old movie, you know, definitely. So,
it is.
So far away, nearly 100 years.
And if you do pave over the wall behind, you can actually see a picture from Kvistrup. That's the farm where Bang Olufsen was founded. Sven Olufsen, he grew up on a farm just outside of Struer. And this is the living room from the Kvistrup farm. And you can see the radio sitting over there to the right. So that's where it was located back then.
Amazing. I'm moved, really moved.
But then what really happened was that they started making this radio, but they also very quickly found out that it was a tricky one to sell. They had a farm. They didn't have any distribution. They didn't have e-com or what we have today. They basically had a barn door where they were selling out the radio from. And that was pretty tricky because there were not that many people out here in the Struer area. So what they did instead was actually quite clever. They took the little part that made it possible to use electricity, and then they made that into an individual product. They call it the eliminator because it eliminated the need for batteries. And that's actually the one we see over here. So suddenly now we have a product that's much more manageable than a big radio. So you could send it around by mail order, send it around to people who had a battery-driven radio. And because they wanted to get rid of their batteries, they wanted an eliminator instead, and kind of using it as a transformer at that time. So it was super cool and super new at that time. You hadn't really seen anything like that in the whole area of Northern Europe.
It's crazy.
But, of course, they were not going to produce eliminators for, forever. They were really put in on the world or on the planet for making radios. So at some time, they decided that they were going to stop making eliminators and really start building radios again. And some of the radios that you see here are some of the early radios during the 20s, where this one in particular was really very revolutionary again. We had fixed this thing about the annoying batteries. Now the other annoying thing at that time was that the tuning stability was not very good. So that was fixed with this one. It was called the 5-lamper. And suddenly when you tuned in on a radio station, it stayed there. Whereas sometimes if it was not stable from other radios, it suddenly started to do like, yes. And then you had to go and retune. And that was not a very nice experience. This one, totally state of the art. And became like this kind of benchmark radio.
Both, I've seen this in the movies also.
This one. That's a speaker.
Yeah, the speaker, this one.
The speaker and the radio.
Yeah, both.
Yeah. And then actually one pretty cool thing was that they also started thinking about, putting technology inside the living room. That can maybe be a little bit too much at that time. We were in the 20s and this kind of took up a lot of space. So why don't we meld it all together and do like a 2-in-1? So that's actually what you can see over here. You have the speaker, as you can see back then, but then you have this little clever compartment here on the side where you then hide the radio, and that's in there. And that was pretty new. They also made a very nice commercial, one you see on the wall back then, and it says actually what ladies are calling a pretty radio. because it was something that was also catering to the fact that things should, you know, look nice in the home and be interior friendly, as we call it today.
It's an amazing history.
And that was already back in the 20s, you know, nearly 100 years ago. If we go a little bit further, I would say the big next thing from Bang & Olufsen was this one. What you see here is again kind of another huge technology step that we did. We had fixed the battery issue, we had fixed the tuning stability. What was then to fix? Well, that was the convenience of just pushing a button and then you were right at the station. It was a whole concept of presets. And at that time, that didn't exist. So you basically just pushed a button like that, and then you were at the station. And that I can assure you, that was the first time ever in the world that that was made. And what was also pretty interesting was that when you, as a customer, ordered the radio, you could have it pre-engraved with your 8 favorite stations. So it was a kind of a customized product for people to buy into. So really, really popular, very nice, and also took some nice gold medals at a technology exhibition and so on. So that was done there. But of course then also came the war period, which of course was quite difficult for Bang & Olufsen, also continuing the production and so on. And we also had a setback of having our factory blown up during the war. So we actually, yeah, it was a before and this was the after picture. So quite a setback for the company. It happened in January 1945, so it was very close to the end. Yeah.
To the end of the Second World War.
But we had everything rebuilt, and I think you can also say that being a small community like Struer was really what also paved the way for us then, because it was one big family as it is now, and it also was back then. So when we had problems like that, everyone from the
they stick together.
Came and helped, cleaning out, getting ready for building a
community,
new factory.
A real community.
It was a true community, and definitely. It still is. Yeah. So if we go a little bit further here, that's where we take another step, maybe in a little, unusual direction. But after the war, it was tricky to get components and kind of start up full production. So actually, for a few years, we produced shavers. So a lot of Bang & Olufsen shavers were produced at that time, both for men, but also for ladies. So they were also lady shavers. And as part of what was happening there was, of course, also the idea of moving into the TV business. And we were, kind of fiddling around how to enter that business area. We did a concept TV that you see over here. That's actually
incredible.
This one. That was basically to prove the point to the top managers that they had to see, what we were able to do. And there's a small picture from a living room.
When you see it in situation, I mean, you say, "Oh my God, this is so tiny, and the rest is so huge."
Yes, it's a quite small screen at that time.
Yeah. But I'm sure at this moment in time, it was really incredible for the people.
Oh, it was completely revolutionary.
Magical.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. And there were very, very little TV at the time.
Because it was very expensive. Yeah. It cost more or less the price of a car or something like that to buy that kind of TV.
Yeah. Broadcasting was not something you had a lot of at that time.
Yes, definitely.
But then what we did afterwards was that we actually did our first commercial TV. And that's the one you see here. It is... I guess you can say all-in-one TV. You can close it down when it's not in use. So then you put this thing in front, and you won't have to look at this kind of empty eye looking out in the living room. When you wanted to use it, you could pull this one up.
C'est l'armoire normande, hein. C'est l'armoire normande, quoi. Je veux dire, c'est génial.
But actually, even also importantly, you also notice that we are very concerned about having right viewing angle and being able to turn the TV in the right direction. So in this way, and I need you to hold the microphone, because what we do here is that we pull out these ones.
No.
And then you can kind of roll it around like a wheelbarrow.
C'est une brouette en fin de compte. C'est une brouette.
Yeah. So it's kind of before motorized floor stand, we had a humanized floor stand. Yeah. So
I've never seen this in my whole life.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I mean, it's just
and it actually,
so unusual.
From that, and due to that, it was called the wheelbarrow TV.
This is what I
said.
For
obvious reasons.
Une brouette.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first TV from Bang Olufsen. And then just a very some quick words on the area over here, because that was where we really started working with designers. We had not until now actually been really working in collaboration with designers. It was more furniture makers working in this area. It looks
like a furniture, yes, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. But we wanted to be more modern. We wanted to kind of match what was going on in the furniture industry here in Denmark. And during the 50s in Denmark, a lot of things were happening within furniture. Mm-hmm. So we wanted to kind of go in that direction as well. And the Capri TV that you see over here is the first, kind of attempt to do that. We started suddenly testing out new kinds of wood. This is teak wood, mm-hmm. And that was very new at the time. We also very much clean up the front.
It's very elegant.
So, yeah,
compared to the others. Elegant. It's very elegant.
Yeah. No buttons in the front. Very light, mm-hmm. Nice, clean, turned legs. And actually, if you do know the Bang & Olufsen portfolio and you know the Beoplay A9, the round speaker with the 3 wooden legs.
Yes. It's inspired by that.
It's like,
let's say, this is the grandfather.
Yeah, exactly. We put all the buttons on the side here, so you don't see them. Even they're put into the wood.
Yeah, it's very.
So it's very delicate
aesthetic. It's elegant.
Very clean. Yeah.
It's a huge step compared to the others.
Huge step.
Definitely, it's a huge step.
Yeah. And that's also what you see if you do a spin around this area. You can see that all the other TVs are kind of heavy and a little bit very robust, you could say, mm-hmm. where this one has a much more light.
Because of this, I mean, the space makes it floating in the air. Yeah. The other ones are just like furnitures.
Yeah.
The difference is
here.
So
the Capri TV, huge success. Very big success.
Logical.
And actually then what we decided to do that instead of, kind of doing it in-house, we actually went externally and started working with external designers. So we did a first design competitions, saying to all designers and architects in Denmark, that they should try and design our next radio. And the winning radio was the one over here. So that is actually the first radio from Bang & Olufsen, which was a designed radio. So it has a designer's name on it. Helge Frank Mortensen. It's called Mini Moderne. And a completely new way of producing, taking the product out to the edges, much more clean in its expression compared to some of the other things that we did during those years.
Everything is thinner.
Very thin, yes. Much more light.
Thinner.
Yeah. And again, huge success. And basically, from there on, we never looked back. Mm-hmm. So we work with designers ever since, and that's the way we do it. And also, one of the very typical factors, or typical part of the product of the process is that the designer is part of the process right from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And I think that's very important when you want to create products like this. That you have both the engineers and the designers working
hand in hand.
Alongside. And
yeah,
hand
definitely
in hand.
alongside.
Yeah.
Turntables now.
Yeah.
Which year?
We are at the late 60s.
Late 60s.
Yeah. And notice the material. This is actually some of the first products where we are using, of course, still wood, but adding on the aluminium part of it. Very much due to one of our designers called Jakob Jensen. He loved the aluminium material, and he basically started using that in most of his designs. And we have more or less used it ever since, because we could see the potential of this fantastic material in so many different ways.
Okay, my question is going to be very simple. I mean, radios, TVs, turntable, tape recorders, amplifier and tuner. What else? I mean, this is the things you're doing. Radios.
Yeah, we are doing also a lot of smaller transistor radios.
Transistors, radios.
So these ones
VCRs.
were... Yeah, VCR.
The radios, you see, designed Jakob Jensen, very famous guy. Very famous, this one.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a... No, it's not a VCR, it's a power amplifier and a tuner, maybe. Yes, this is one. The power amplifier and tuner.
Jakob Jensen was also the one that came with this idea of slide ruling.
It was quite new at the beginning to have this. It was totally unusual to have this in the hi-fi area. And
it's the same that you see over here.
Yes. This part is moving like that, very elegant.
But then one of the things where that really, I guess you can say revolutionized.
This is called the BO Center?
It is. This
is the BO Center.
BO Center 8000.
Oh my God.
So we have both the Beogram, the Beocord, we have radios, everything all
together. And this is, I'm going to say it in French, une platine vinyle à bras tangentiel. C'est-à-dire le bras avance comme ça, en mettant un angle particulier. Ils avaient beaucoup de platines à bras tangentiel, BO. Donc c'était très particulier. Moi de toute façon j'avais 4 ans, donc j'ai appris plus tard ça, mais c'est assez incroyable. Ça c'est vraiment quelque chose de parfaitement iconique. C'est quelque chose que les gens, on verra tout à l'heure dans les autres produits, mais quand on pense à BO et l'histoire de BO, pour certaines personnes ça commence là, avec ce type de produit ici. Thank you. Et voilà. Voilà.
This one, yeah.
Là si vous voulez voir un bras tangentiel, c'est ça. Can I pull it?
Yeah.
Pull it up.
Oh. Wow. Yeah.
Voici le bras tangentiel. Le bras tangentiel, donc il avance comme ça. Et BO travaillait beaucoup dessus. Donc il y avait un capteur ici, il y avait des moteurs. Et à chaque fois, il suivait le sillon avec le capteur et le bras avançait. Ça permettait une écoute qui avait la même qualité du début à la fin, puisqu'il n'y avait pas d'angle d'attaque différent.
And here we have another classic where we have the aluminum covers.
Oh là 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 là.
Hiding all the secondary interaction. And then you just shut the aluminum lid and it slides down very nicely.
Always elegant. It reminds me so many things, this one.
Yeah.
So many things. I really love it. Love it, love it, love it. I was very young. I went to the shops and doing 2 or 3 times, I'm doing this to make it open automatically. So great. BO System 2500.
Has both the cassette and the DVD, the CD, and radio as well.
And this was pulled away.
So all in all.
Like this.
Yeah.
And to make it open. I was younger. It was so great. Oh my God. This is the thing. Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Il y a tellement de choses incroyables. Ça. Platine vinyle, ampli tuner, directement. Normalement, ça s'ouvre comme ça, voilà. Platine vinyle. Vous avez la cassette ici. Ampli. Normalement, c'est le tuner qui est ici, pour le tuning. Même chose, normalement, un bras tangentiel, qui doit plus être là, mais qui était placé ici. Ce sont des éléments incroyables. Et ces enceintes, si vous regardez bien la forme qu'elles ont, il y a des marques actuelles qui sont largement inspirées de ce design. Comme ça. Flouk, flouk. Et c'était les idées, justement, entre autres de Jakob Jensen, David Lewis, qui avait bossé là-dessus.
And another classic over here. The BO Center 9000.
Ah!
Yeah. again, these kind of magical movements where you have a very clean surface, but then if you want to load a CD, it kind of opens up this way, and you.
C'est dingue.
And the same over here.
Oh là 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 là.
You have the tape recorder.
So elegant. And the beginning of the VHS with the VCR. Mm-hmm. It's a VCR, this one. It's a Philips.
Yeah, it's a VCR.
Yeah. Ça, c'est le système Philips avec Bang Olufsen et les télécathodiques. Ça, c'était vraiment incroyable. Hein. Pour les gens qui ne connaîtraient pas le VCR, voici donc les cassettes VCR. Il faut savoir qu'à l'époque, il y avait un fight avec le VCR, la VHS de JVC et le Betamax de Sony. Et c'est pas ça qui a gagné, c'était la VHS. Mais au début, on avait des systèmes VCR.
And again, a little bit about cleaning up the mess. It's kind of very much a mantra of Bang Olufsen that things has to look clean and nice, and you should have access to it just the times where you need it, but otherwise things should be packed away. So this is a good example of that as well. So in here you have all the different functionalities of tuning in on your TV stations, and then when you don't want to look, you have contrast, color, brilliance, all base, all those things you can go in and adjust, and then you just tuck it away.
Disappear. You make it disappear, and everything stays clean and very aesthetic.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
And then of course we can't say Bang Olufsen without looking at the Beosound 9000 that we have here.
Everybody knows this one.
Yeah.
Everybody knows this one.
Yeah.
Everybody.
So we have the 60 CDs behind, and then you could open up, if I can have you hold this one, like that. And then you had all the interaction going on in here, but nicely hidden behind the lid. So, yeah.
This one is really iconic.
Yeah.
This one is great.
The speakers we have right here, I guess you can say our previous flagship speakers. Since we have launched the Beolab 90s, those have taken over that spot. But the Beolab 5 came out in around 2003 and was with us for nearly 15 years. And it's the first speaker where we use the lens technology, where we are spreading the sound out in 180 degrees. Yes. So
radiant.
That's where you're using these lenses in front.
And these plates, I mean, to get the sound into the room in 360 degrees, just like that.
This was mainly focused on 180. With the Beolab 90, we did 360. There you could also throw the sound behind you. Yes.
Here there's a monster.
Yeah, that is actually, it never made, this particular model never made it into production. This is just an example of a prototype we were working with. We did end up making a plasma screen of about 85 inches and also 103 inches. It just never ended up looking like this. It got a different design, but this is just to
Amazing
show
piece
an
of
idea.
art.
Yeah, and get a sense for the size as well. Yeah, that one is also more or less becoming a classic. Yeah,
it's for the Apple
A8. Yeah. That was our first docking station that we made, both for iPhone and iPod, iPad. I think it came out in 2010, 2011, and it was also with us for quite some years. Quite an iconic product as well.
Thank you for being the guiding light. It was so great. Definitely, my heart is bumping. You cannot feel it, but it's bumping. Oh my God.
Thank you for the visit, PP.
Thanks to you. Alors, je trouve que c'était important de vous montrer en fin de compte l'histoire de Bang Olufsen qui a commencé avec carrément, c'était des meubles, c'était l'armoire normande, avec beaucoup de bois, avec ses radios, ses téléviseurs qui étaient donc gigantesques, pour arriver à des choses beaucoup plus épurées. Vous avez vu la progression, on arrive sur des choses qui sont maintenant très métalliques. Et justement, dans la suite des vidéos qu'on va vous faire ici au Danemark, vous allez voir que maintenant le focus est carrément fait sur le travail de l'aluminium, du métal, tout en gardant l'esprit justement de création de BO. On va sur des choses qui sont à la fois osées, complètement métalliques, plus légères, plus esthétiques, plus fines. C'est du délire complet. Et on a bien sûr ce type de produit aussi, hein. La glacière de l'espace, donc qui est une enceinte, moi que j'avais testée, qui est assez lourde, qui est assez marrante. Donc, ce qui est bien, c'est qu'on aime ou on n'aime pas cette marque, là n'est pas le problème. On ne peut pas leur reprocher de ne pas oser. Donc c'est dingue. Quand on repère un petit peu la façon dont on travaille BO, même quand on travaille des casques, regardez la partie justement aluminium, donc qui réfléchit malheureusement ici, alu, qui est donc le sceau, si je puis dire, du travail de Bang Olufsen sur la plupart de leurs produits. Même sur les petits écouteurs, on a toujours un côté où l'aluminium revient complètement par rapport à l'utilisation du bois auparavant. Ils ont vraiment fait évoluer ça. Et c'est un chemin formidable. Vous avez 100 ans d'histoire avec des produits, je ne savais même pas que ça existait, les rasoirs Bang Olufsen. On est sur de la folie la plus totale. Donc, il y a quand même un nombre de produits que moi-même, je ne pensais pas possible. Avec bien sûr tous les produits iconiques, avec le CD. Il faut savoir qu'à l'époque, si ma mémoire est bonne, le CD audio chez Bang Olufsen était travaillé avec Philips. Parce que Philips était partenaire, c'est pour ça qu'il y a pas mal de téléviseurs, même les téléviseurs cathodiques. Je pense que Bang Olufsen était dans l'affaire. Donc il y avait toute l'idée de travailler avec Philips pour une partie de la partie CD qu'on retrouvait, les modèles qui s'ouvraient comme ça et tout. C'est BO et Philips font partie de l'ingénierie. Si ma mémoire est bonne, hein, ce que j'avais étudié à l'école. C'est la fin de la première vidéo consacrée à la marque Bang Olufsen, tournée ici au Danemark, à la maison mère de Bang Olufsen dans le musée. C'était important pour nous de faire un petit tour d'horizon comme ça, vous permettre de planter le décor des vidéos à venir. Puisqu'après, il y aura justement la visite de l'usine, il y aura l'interview des ingénieurs, plein de trucs super intéressants autour de Bang Olufsen, parce que quand on reste 2 jours ici, on tourne au maximum des centaines de gigas, des trucs absolument étonnants. Donc voilà, guettez bien les vidéos suivantes. Vous avez déjà eu justement la vidéo du Grand Déballage. Maintenant, on va un petit peu en marche arrière pour vous expliquer ce qu'est cette marque et pourquoi on est arrivé justement à une barre de son comme celle que vous avez vue dans le Grand Déballage. Portez-vous bien et à bientôt sur les médias YouTube Son-Vidéo.com. Parce que c'est beau, tous ces vinyles, cette oreille géante et tout, c'est toute ma vie hein, qui est là. Hein. Voilà. Allez, à bientôt, hein.